Hello everyone. Today, we will be reading an official document of an ASP. We will also briefly go over the phenomena as a whole and how it pertains to the credibility of reported sightings. The subjects of this document being ASP-8 as well as the Wendigo. This document review has a clearance level of 1. Note that these documents are subject to change. The Foundation's document on ASP-8 is as follows. ASP-8 is also commonly known as a crawler, pale crawler, or a cave crawler. It is a humanoid, pale-skinned, gaunt, emaciated tall creature with a thin body and elongated limbs. The skin color ranges from pale ash gray to pure white. They occasionally have ribs, vertebrae, or bones visible underneath their skin. Besides the mouth and eyes, instances of ASP-8 have virtually no facial features. They are generally 5 to 10 feet, or 1.5 to 3 meters tall when fully grown and standing upright. Crawlers occasionally stand on 2 legs, however prefer to crouch or crawl on all 4s. Their mouths are filled with sharp and pointed teeth. The creature has beady, black eyes, however when light illuminates them in the dark, the eyes reflect white. They are primarily nocturnal creatures, and caves and caverns are their primary habitat. They are typically found in Russia, Australia, and they span from southern Canada to Mexico. They are carnivorous creatures that typically hunt at night and in the forest. Customarily, instances of ASP-8 hunt small game, essentially squirrels and rodents, although they are mostly interested in rabbits. They occasionally pursue farm animals such as pigs and calves, and centrally, the more muscular crawlers take down fawns and on limited occasions, adult deer. Crawlers are also scavengers and will hunt for deceased animals quite regularly. They will often bring back various scraps to their cave habitats for consumption at a later date. They do not seem to hunt humans, however they can and will chase people when provoked, or when their territory is being intruded upon. Crawlers imitate a very loud scream or screech, similar to a human scream or that of a mountain lion. Although it is insurmountably rare, in some cases crawlers hunt in groups, working collectively to hunt bigger prey such as bears, but on average, crawlers remain solitary for the vast majority of their lives. Crawlers despise bright lights, fire, and loud noises such as gunshots. The phylogenies of this species are the kingdom Animalia, the phylum Chordata, the class Mammalia, and the order Primates. While ASP-8 is not known to many people, it is reported relatively frequently. This gives some added credence to the reports, as we know they are not creating false reports in an attempt for exposure or self-interest. One reason as to why it is not well known is that it is misidentified under other names and as other creatures. The Wendigo is a creature that has been in First Nations culture for thousands of years. What they saw matches this creature's description. The Wendigo is described as originating from the Algonquin-speaking peoples, including the Ojibwe, the Saulteaux, the Cree, the Naskapi, and the Innu. It is 9 to 15 feet tall, a humanoid, emaciated-looking, gaunt giant with a grayish complexion and sunken eyes. The creature stinks of death and decay, its desiccated skin pulled tightly over its bones. With its bones pushing out against its skin, its complexion the ash gray of death, and its eyes pushed back deep into their sockets. The Wendigo looked like a gaunt skeleton recently disinterred from the grave. The Wendigo gives off a strange and eerie odor of decay and decomposition, of death and corruption. There are many striking similarities between the two, and the Wendigo legend likely stems from this creature directly. Many people have claimed that screams they have heard within the forest were in fact a Wendigo. This may account for some of the sightings and reports that go unnoticed and cause the commonly reported phenomena to be misidentified to the point of obscurity. Not only have eyewitnesses and researchers misidentified this as a Wendigo, but also under the name of a creepypasta, as well as another entirely different cryptid. The Rake is a fictional creature that is heavily based on the original crawler sighting. It even used the best photo we have of a cave crawler as the photo for the Rake. Some information is directly copied into these stories, making it pretty obvious what this is supposed to be. People see a crawler or hear about a sighting and immediately jump to the Rake. Since the Rake is meant to be entirely fictional, this causes most to not take the sighting seriously. Another creature that the crawler is misidentified as is the skinwalker. As of right now, I will not go too in-depth on the skinwalkers, but these are entirely separate creatures. The description of crawler's appearance, as mentioned before, makes it sound like the skin is pulled tightly over the bones. A skinwalker is meant to steal the skin of other creatures as a disguise. This is where the similarities end. Crawlers live in caves and are unchanging, constant, and consistent. Skinwalkers are meant to be a witch created by a curse, a being from a separate dimension, or some government experiment. Either way, they are not the same. All of this to say that when people see a crawler or hear about someone who did, the names being thrown around are incorrect and cause confusion. Jumping to say, it's a rake, it's a wendigo, or it's a skinwalker are what causes it to seem like it isn't a singular creature and makes it difficult for people to hear about it. Either way, this causes reports to be more credible when they are able to accurately describe something that is not so well known and typically is surrounded by conflicting information on the surface. I hope you enjoyed this entry log. Make sure to like and subscribe for more. What do you think about all this? Is there any information or insight you'd like to add? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye.